strange captive. Ralph of Coggeshall, a medieval chronicler, wrote that fishermen out at sea dragged up a wild man, a merman, in their nets. They didn't know what to make of him. He didn't speak any language that they understood. So they brought him here to the castle and held him in a cell just under the keep. And when they couldn't get him to speak, they tortured him, hung him up by his feet. They took him off to church to see if he would show any signs of reverence, any signs of belief. Eventually, they let him go swimming about in the sea again, but guarded him with nets. Then he escaped, never to be seen again. The legend goes that the merman, or wild man of Orford, was brought here to the church of St. Bartholomew. Much of the church has since been rebuilt, but remains of the old Norman building can still be seen. This is Norman architecture. You see the little zigzag designs there on those Romanesque arches, those heavy columns coming down. This would have been built in the late 12th century. And we know the merman was brought to the church here. He may have even set foot in this area here. They were trying to see if he responded to any kind of religion or belief system. He didn't. But the rumour is he's still in the church here somewhere in a funny kind of way. The Reverend Giles can show me where, as the merman myth has literally been set in stone for all to see. You've got a splendid church here, and this is a really wonderful font as well.
It is, and this is the thing that fascinates children in particular, that at the bottom we have all these mythical beasts, including this particular character here, who legend says is based on the merman of Orford.
Ah, I can see he's all sort of shaggy and hairy here and carrying a club. But this is just very, very interesting because you've got obviously Christianity being depicted, but then something darker, wilder, something scarier happening.
That's right. And for me, it's all about how the early church made that link between some of the pagan beliefs of the people with the relatively new Christian beliefs, so people can see how our religion has evolved.
Yeah. There's a story, isn't there, in everything. Everything's trying to convey some form of message, some form of teaching.
It is, and it's one of those stories that catches the imaginations of people. They can relate to it and to what happens in our own times, how we treat people who might look or speak differently to us. So I always use that as an example where someone who was different wasn't welcomed and loved.
Yeah. Well, he's clearly loved by the village, and he's got a prime spot here, so it's been a pleasure to see him.
Thank you.